Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today on Generational Wealth. Today we are going to be talking about what is generational wealth. And there's many different forms of generational wealth. It really comes down to how you want to create generational wealth yourself. The easiest way to say it is wealth created by one generation that can be passed down to the next. This could be as simple as having a will in place for certain beneficiaries to be able to pass your remaining assets on to them. That is passing down wealth of some way, shape, or form. It could be something as creating an investment account simply for your child's future. It can be short-term, medium-term, long-term. It's really the goals you set out. So you could create an investment account to have the dividends help pay for your child's allowance. It could be something as paying for their first car, maybe creating a 529 plan to pay for their college. You could have it as a gift when they graduate high school. You could give it to them as a wedding present. You could give it to them at a baby shower as a present to help with their future expenses of the next generation. You could even start a trust in your grandchildren's name. So you could save this money in an investment account, and when your grandchild is born, you could roll that over into a trust that will be passed down to them one day. This is generation after generational wealth. It's really a great way to submerge the aspect of generational wealth. And this doesn't have to be a huge amount. We want to take the power of compounding interest into our own hands. A lot of the financial sites today talk about how if you're 20 years old, if you invest this much, you could be a millionaire this soon and things like that. And that's it's great to have that knowledge out there. It's a lot of the knowledge that I've consumed. My thought is, what if we could start with our children instead of ourselves? A lot of people are telling me, well, they're 40, 50 years old, and they're saying, oh, it's too late. I would have to invest so much money and I couldn't afford to do that. Well, why would you want to wait until your children are in the same shoes you are? Help them out, because it'll take almost nothing. So it'll take very little money to be able to pass down that wealth, because if you start at an earlier age, it's less money you have to invest because it has the power to grow and compound over time. If you start when a child's 1 year old, 5 years old, 10 years old, you have to invest less than $100 before they're a millionaire, before they're retired. It takes very little. You want to wait further and further, it becomes more and more, becomes more difficult. We want to avoid that difficulty. If we want better for our children than we have for ourselves, this is one way to do it. We have to take the steps earlier in life so they have a brighter future tomorrow. Remember, we have to plan for the future today, because it comes as soon as tomorrow. Our future generation will be adults sooner than we expect. Time flies. The older you get, the more you realize that. And so we don't want to squander these powers of compounding. We want to use them in our favor to create future wealth, generation after generation. There's a study out by NASDAQ.com that states 70% of families' wealth is lost in the second generation, and up to 90% is lost in the third generation. That's absurd. And it's an astounding number. Crazy. But I find that the biggest reason for that is that it is not taught. Money is not taught. It's not discussed. It's more of a taboo subject, and it shouldn't be. Your children are not going to learn something that they're not taught. If schools aren't teaching it, you as a parent have that duty, that obligation. You need to step up to the plate and you need to do it. And a lot of parents don't know and understand how to do that. So today, we want to invite you to join our channel here at Generational Wealth, because we have a plan to set out and create future videos to help put knowledge and strategy to how we can distill this into our future generations to create a brighter future for them. Thank you for joining us today on Generational Wealth. If you found any value out of this, please like and subscribe. And remember, we have to start planning for the future today. It comes as early as tomorrow.